Let's go over some of the things I noticed in my rewatch of Mad Max, Episode 1, Season 2 of Stranger Things, with Conformity Gate clues in mind. The episode opens with Halloween, trick or treat. But behind that trick or treat, ashes to ashes and dust to dust, here lies someone I wouldn't trust. Now that is interesting given that Mad Max is the episode. Can we not trust Max? That is one of the Conformity Gate theories circling around, that Max is not who we think she is. Joyce drops off Will at the arcade and says, I'm going to pick you up in 2 hours. That's 9 o'clock on the dot, okay? Why is 9 o'clock significant? Because 369, the key to the universe, Nikola Tesla, is one of the big Conformity Gate clues out there. And keys are a big thing in Stranger Things. And Tales from 85 has a character named Nikki, and they talk about how she's like Tesla. She's an inventor. Anyways, moving on. Church Street Plaza. Now, I'm not entirely sure about this. I know it's significant, but I'm not sure why. I feel like it has to do with Fear Street and the finale with the church at the end. But if you have any ideas, let me know. This one's a little less formed. Later in the episode, we are introduced to Murray Bauman, who goes to Hopper talking about a Russian girl with psychic abilities. They're in his office, and we get a shot of Hopper, bam, slamming his foot onto the table, onto his desk, and then we get a frame of him. There's a key and his foot. Now, one of the Conformity Gate theories up in there is that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, has something to do with something. I think Hopper has to do with that. The shot of his foot and it being a big shot, and then the key. And then also in the Boroughs, we have a character that is very similar to Hopper in sound, voice, and look, and he's compared to a Sasquatch. There you go. Again, with our Tesla 369, Steve's car has the number 9 on it. We also know that the comics, Stranger Things comics, 6, there's a character, a kid that was in the lab, in Dr. Brenner's lab, who's 6. She runs away with 3 and 9. I don't know if Steve has something to do with the 3, 6, and the 9, but this feels like he does. Dustin is wearing a shirt with a dinosaur on it that is a Brontosaurus. Now, where else have I seen this Brontosaurus? The finale. Robin's earring. A Brontosaurus is nearly identical in skeleton to an Apatosaurus. And in 2015, they reinstated it to be its own dinosaur. It's known as the Thunder Lizard. So which is it, Robin or Dustin being the Thunder Lizard? Who knows? Perhaps it's both. Maybe they're sharing the experience. Another interesting thing, Bob comes in to visit Joyce, and he says, do you have these in any other colors? I'm not a big fan of orange, which is really interesting because in the finale, there's all this orange that don't really belong. They later go into the back to have a little quick cute kiss time, and he finds a green Halloween pumpkin, and he likes that. He likes when blue and yellow meets in the West. When Hopper goes to see about Meryl's farm, about the pumpkins rotting, Meryl mentions this happening the day before Halloween when sales are peaking. That's a hell of a coincidence. I just wanted to bring up, the idea of coincidences and the fact that people keep saying Conformity Gate is just people noticing coincidences and thinking it's more. And yet coincidence is one of the motifs of the show. Okay. Hell of a coincidence. The shot of the scarecrow in the field makes me think of Henry when Elle is sending him to the abyss. That's dance. And the fact that we have a crow, and crows are the symbols for someone passing, life, death. And we saw in the Boroughs, crows are significant. So this is significant. In this moment, Joyce is driving Will from school to Hawkins' lab. And he says, yeah, sorry. And she says, hey, what did we talk about, huh? You gotta stop it with those sorries. Now, why is this significant? Because we have seen something very bad is going to happen. The sorry man. Is Will a sorry man? Perhaps. When Max is being dropped off at the arcade by Billy, behind her is that Pac-Man, and we've got a red ghost and a blue ghost and a yellow ghost. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know the significance of this either. I'm just pointing it out. Another scene I'm not sure how to make sense of is something actually that I forgot, that Mike was acting up before season 2, before we saw him. He was plagiarizing an essay, graffitiing a bathroom wall. His mom said, it's not strike 1, it's not even strike 3. And then Ted says, it's strike 20. You're on the bench, son. That also made me think of baseball and the finale with Steve. And if it'd be my coach, you'd be lucky to still be on the team. He also cursed out Mr. Kowalski last week. He is only allowed 2 boxes. Or he wants only 1 box, but he has to give up 2 boxes worth of toys. He puts away monkeys. He got 2 monkeys. That's making me think of the Duffer Brothers, Monkey Massacre, the production company. Again with the dinosaurs, I'm not sure what it is about these dinosaurs, but he has a fondness for it. And behind one of those monkeys that he did not pack away are these flowers. 3 having black dots, and then 1 yellow dot in the middle. Day 352 at 7:40 p.m. He calls to see if Elle is there, with a blue and yellow diamond hanging above him. Before that scene, we have Nancy and Steve going to see Barb's parents and having KFC. Now, I've spoken about this before, the significance of KFC, of Robin, Steve, and of Baba Yaga and chicken. That's a separate video. We're not going to worry about that. Just notice 5 o'clock. It's just important to know the times. I'm not sure why, though, right now. But what I do think is strange is when Nancy goes to the bathroom, and it's the mirror. The mirror of her in it and the frame inside. Very strange. Only because it reminds me of season 1, of this weird framing of her and Steve in the mirror. And now I'm wondering if there is a connection, a parallel between Barb and Steve. I don't know. But it does make me think of the connection between Elle and Will. Also kind of a mirrored effect. People who are interested in this one person who's looking in a wheeler and who aren't always usually together at the same time. I don't know. Now I'm looking at the camera thing kind of sus because of, this is Bob filming Joyce and they're having their movie night. And only reason I'm looking at it sus is because of something very bad is going to happen, how the timestamps didn't make sense in that show. Meaning there was time jumping. In this, we have it's October 30th, 1984. At 6:10 p.m. he starts filming. The next moment, it's 6:11 p.m., which is actually pretty normal. It did seem like you could do that. I'm just bringing it up so we keep it in mind for future reference. Jonathan and Will have a heart-to-heart, and behind Will, when he says, yeah, I'm a freak, is this totem with the wings spread out, which reminds me of Zoroastrianism, which reminds me of Isis. Isis is the resurrection. She's a goddess who, we know for resurrection, if you didn't know, Egyptian goddess. And then Zoroastrianism, there's a long deep rabbit hole with that and Hercules' legendary journeys, but and a conversation with Dayhawk. In Zoroastrianism, there's this Dayhawk that's a 3-headed dragon, red dragon. That's a long story, but just know that this has many ties to resurrection. Yes, I don't know the Native American significance of this, but this is important to just keep in mind. This is when he's talking about being a zombie boy as well. Just want to say that. Blue and yellow. While he's eating popcorn watching the movie Hey Mom, Dr. Mom, Mr. Mom, Mr. Mom.